Lesson 72, we get into unit multipliers. It's the same concept that we've done before when we're converting inches to feet and so on, but today we get into problems where we'll be doing more than just one. We'll be doing multiple units. For our first example, we have convert the following: 855 square feet to square yards. So notice the only difference that we have here is now we have the squared part. So if we take a look at this first one, let's start with what we're given. 855 feet squared, and we're going to put that over 1 as always. Now from there we got to identify what we have and what we want to get to. So we got feet and we want to go to yards. So we have a direct conversion there. We know that there's 3 feet in 1 yard, and we know to get that cancellation that we got to put the feet down below and our yards on top, because now our feet cancel out. The only thing is, now we got to take care of that extra feet that's involved, because remember the exponent 2 represents that there's 2 of them. So now when we have squared, we have to throw in one more unit multiplier. Now our conversions are all the same, nothing changes there. But now notice when we cancel them out, our feet cancel out and we're left with our yards squared. So if we go ahead and multiply across the top, we got our 855. And in our numerator, we got 1 times 3 times 3, which gets us our 9. And we get our 9 yards squared. So that's the gist of it. If there's 2 of them, you got to use 2 unit multipliers so that the 2 feet cancel out. And then we also get our yards squared. And then you would go ahead and reduce that down. For example 2, now we want to convert 216 cubic feet to cubic yards. So again, let's start out with what we're given. We're given 216 cubic feet. Cubic again means that our exponent now is going to become 3. And there it is, again over 1. And now when we set up our unit multipliers, you may have already guessed, we got to set up 3 of them to get rid of all of them. And now again, our feet need to go down below. 1, 2, and there's our third one. And now we still have our direct conversion, feet to yards. We want our yards on top. And then our conversions, as always, we know that there's 3 feet in 1 yard. And now if we go ahead and cancel out our units, 3 on top cancels out 1, 2, 3. And now when we go ahead and multiply our numerators, 216 times 1 times 1 times 1, in the numerator we get 216. And our denominators, 1 times 3 times 3 times 3, we get 27. And notice again, we have our 3 units to represent our cubic yards now. So cubic yards, yards with an exponent of 3. Now if we want to, we can go ahead and reduce that down. And when you divide that, you will find that that's going to be equal to 8 yards cubed. So notice the difference that we make here. For our last example, we want to convert 10 yards per second to feet per minute. So again, with this one, we got a rate going on. We got 2 units to start with, and we want to end up with 2 different units. So let's go ahead and start with what we're given. We're given 10 yards. Per is our fraction bar. Per 1 second. Now, as we go along, again, let's start with what we're given. And let's go ahead and identify what we want to get to. We want to get to feet per minute. Now, which conversion you want to make first is totally up to you. I want to go ahead and address the yards to feet first. So let's go ahead and make that conversion. If I want to convert from yards to feet, I know my yards has to go down below, so we get that cancellation. We got our feet on top. And again, we know that there's 3 feet in 1 yard. So that's step number 1. We have already converted from yards to feet. The second thing we need to address is converting from seconds to minutes. And now we can go ahead and do that with another unit multiplier. Okay? Notice, if we go back to the very beginning, here's our seconds. So in order to get that cancellation, we know that the seconds have to go on top, and then our minutes need to go down below. And again, 60 seconds in 1 minute. And there we have it. Now before we go any further, let's check to see if we get our correct cancellations. We're going to start here with our seconds. They cancel out. And then the other ones that we look at are our yards. Those also cancel out. So if we go ahead and multiply across the top, 3 times 10 times 60, we're going to come up 1,800. And then we also got our feet up there. That's the only one that's left over. And then if we multiply our denominators, 1 times 1 times 1 is just going to be 1. And the only label that we have left over is going to be our minutes. Okay, so there we have it, 1,800 feet per minute. And that's exactly what we wanted.